Pisces, this is your week ahead astrology forecast from Astrology Motivation by Born Without Boundaries. My name is Michelle, everybody, and I am going to go over the major planetary aspects and transits and how they are impacting or related to your natal suns. Now, I am depending on you knowing where your natal suns are. The best way, the way to do that I know, is the natal chart. So go and grab your natal chart if you don't have one. It's really easy to get one. You just search it and say free natal chart. You will need your birth date, your birth time, and your birth location. And then it'll just spit the chart out. All that information is available on your birth certificate. You don't have to do that homework before you listen to this reading, however, because I will be giving you correlating dates of the month that fit into specific areas of that I'm going to use to basically create the angles and know how the energy or the other planets are impacting your natal sun. So if your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Pisces, you are a Pisces 1 because your natal sun is located in the first decan or group of 10 degrees of Pisces. If your natal sun is located between 10 and 19 degrees, your natal sun is in the second decan of Pisces, so you are a Pisces 2, or I'm going to refer to you as a Pisces 2. And if your natal sun is located between 20 and 29 degrees Pisces, you are a Pisces 3 because your natal sun is located in the third decan of Pisces. Now, you don't, like I said, you don't have to go grab your natal chart. While I go through all this information, I will give you an estimate about what dates this covers. But pretty much, if you are a Pisces that is born in February, you're pretty much Pisces 1. Pisces 2 is pretty much like the first week of March and first week and a half. And then we go into the last week and a half of Pisces season, of March, leading up to Aries. And that would be about Pisces 3. Those dates are estimates. They toggle, especially with February, because February often has a different amount of days, and it just gets a little bit different. So the best and most accurate way is for you to know where your natal sun is located. But you could go by the dates in a rough, roughly. So we're going to start broadly and go over the major transits that are impacting everybody. And then we're going to go over the major transits and how they're impacting Pisces in particular. And then we're going to dig down into the specifics that are impacting Pisces. And then I'll break things down into the decans as to get into like how things are impacting your natal sun and what you in particular can expect for this week. I do recommend that you listen to the whole video because especially if you don't know exactly where your natal sun is located, it will help you to listen to all of it, especially if you just love astrology. Come along with me. So big things are happening this week. By the way, this is the week between April 18th and 24th of 2023. No, I'm sorry. It's the week of April 19th to the 25th of 2023. I apologize for that. So between April 19th and 25th of 2023, there are three major things that are happening. One is there's a new moon solar eclipse. This is a special new moon because it is the second new moon in Aries. We call this a double moon when you have two new moons in the same zodiac sign. And it is correlated with a solar eclipse. So if you are in areas, I think in India or Australia, you'll actually be able to see it happening. It'll go from an annular, I think it's called, where there's a ring around the moon. It looks like just a bright ring with the moon in the middle. And then the moon will go total eclipse because it'll block out the whole sun. And then it'll seemingly shrink a little bit just because of the distance from the earth. And you'll see that ring around the sun again. But that's in areas of India, I believe. Australia, you should be able to see partially the eclipse as well. We won't be able to in the United States. It'll be too dark for us. It's in the very late 19th, April 19th, or wee hours of the morning on April 20th. So we won't be able to actually see anything, but I'm sure it's going to be quite beautiful. But this is a rare occasion. Like these double moons don't happen. They happen maybe, I don't know, every 3 years or so, somewhere around there. So it's not that they're uncommon, but they don't happen all the time. You have a solar eclipse. We're heading into eclipse season. We're going to have a lunar eclipse in about 2 weeks. And it's also square to Pluto and conjunct to Jupiter. And for me, that's just like an atom bomb. Like, that's what it feels like, this sense of relentless, I will do this. I will get it done. This is my new start. And if you're getting in the way, you better watch out. That's the kind of energy, especially since this is a new moon in Aries. With the Aries moon conjunct an Aries sun, this is a real push of energy. Like, I'm not asking, I'm telling. This is my new start. This is like assertive energy. So I think that this is a great moon for manifesting on. Absolutely new moon of what I am definitely going to make happen, this sort of commitment of sorts. And then the day after, the 20th, so that day, the sun then, actually an hour after the new moon, the sun transits into Taurus. So you have the new moon solar eclipse, and then you have the sun transiting into Taurus, still conjunct to Jupiter and square to Pluto. And then you have the next day on April 21st, Mercury goes retrograde. I know you've already been feeling this because it's conjunct Uranus. And that means that there's going to be major, like big tech, high tech, like phones and computers and all that internet stuff, major malfunctions when it comes there. Like conjuncting Uranus, I think it just could be really, really big and impact you really, really rough. And so I already know you're already feeling it, even though it's technically starts its retrograde on the 21st. Its shadow period has been really rough for me. I'm assuming it's going to be really rough for you too. So because both Cancer and Pisces are sextile to Taurus, and it's all happening in Taurus. Mercury retrograde will be happening in Taurus. Mercury will actually get out of Taurus, even though it's been there for a couple weeks. Mercury will actually get out of Taurus, leave Taurus after the sun because of the retrograde. So this is intense energy. I think a lot of malfunctions or dysfunctions come up, especially in things that we have sort of relied on and depended on. They've become our day-to-day. They've become sort of standard. And this could be really what throws the chink in our chain and requires us to think outside of the box. That's impacting everybody. For the decans, like Pisces, how are those things impacting you? We're going to get into it. But first we're going to discuss Neptune and Jupiter. They are your ruling dignitaries. And as your ruling dignitaries, you really should always know what is happening to them week by week, because you will be affected. Even if not like in a big way, you will be impacted. Neptune right now is at 26 degrees Pisces. It does not move fast. It's going to be in Pisces for years. It's in the third decan of Pisces, meaning it is conjunct to the natal suns of those of you born in the third decan of Pisces. So toward the end of March, you guys are definitely, your natal suns are conjunct Neptune. For Pisces, that's like uber psychic energy. That's major psychic, but it's major creativity as well. The sun conjunct Neptune is so creative, it's so dreamy, it almost doesn't even know that it's dreaming. It's like waking dreams. So if you really use it and focus it and find a purpose for it, this is a great time when you'll make major breakthroughs that could be really important or really profitable for you, if you just trust the energy and guide it and focus it and instead of letting it distract you. That is a long-term transit, and we'll get into that when I get back to the decans. Neptune is largely no major aspects to Neptune this week, but there are major aspects to Jupiter, and Jupiter is your traditional ruler. So before astronomers discovered Neptune, astrologers had assigned Pisces and Sagittarius to Jupiter. So Jupiter was your traditional ruler. Jupiter is conjunct the sun through the 21st of this week. It's conjunct the new moon, so it's conjunct both the moon and the sun during the new moon, which basically makes all that energy for the new moon even bigger. Like Jupiter volumizes everything. It increases the volume on everything. It's in the very beginning of the week, very briefly, it's semi-square to Venus. That will fade pretty quickly. But it is while that new moon is happening, so there could be some sort of change or challenge to value systems. And then we have a square to Pluto as well by the 25th. So by the end of this week, Jupiter will be square to Pluto. So at the very end. Now, Jupiter square Pluto. Remember, the new moon is conjunct Jupiter. But Jupiter isn't square to Pluto yet because it's just not within 5 degrees of Pluto. It's definitely within 5 degrees of the moon, and I think about 5 degrees of the sun, but its position doesn't really put it. Pluto is at 0 degrees Aquarius, and it is still in like 23, 24 degrees Aries, so it's just not close enough to that Taurus line to really be square to Pluto. By the end of the week, it will be square to Pluto. And this is when, especially you guys, but all of us will start to feel a sense of, I am going to have this. I am going to get this done. Jupiter square to Pluto has a sense about itself that is just ruthless to the point of like not taking no for an answer. And like I said, it's almost like that bomb that blows up the wall. It's like, I will get through anything. And for better or worse, because this can also cause a lot of issues when you, like with clashing with other people and clashing with existing systems or existing relationships, just the sense of relentlessness itself can cause challenges for you, but it can also, if you use it in the right way, create great opportunities. So we will see how that plays out as we get closer to it next week. Now we're going to head into the decans. So Pisces 1, and that's if your birthday is like late February, you are a Pisces 1. Your natal suns are conjunct to Saturn, which is at 5 degrees Pisces. What does that mean? Being formidable, being committed, having a sense of maturity. And listen, it's almost like you've always got to prove everything around you. You have to prove the value. You have to work hard. It instills a sense of hard work, but it could also instill a sense of pressure that you have on you to, like, if you haven't worked hard, you haven't earned it. And in a way, that could also hold you back, because Saturn needs everything to be done in a specific way, and that could also slow you down a little bit. So we also have, and that's a long-term aspect, conjunctions are neither good nor bad. They're just a lot of energy, and it just depends on how you are able to focus that energy. Another long-term transit that is influencing your natal sun is it's sextile to the north node and trine to the south node, which is getting comfortable with who you are and what you're capable of and everything that you're already good at, and learning how to, or preparing to, or seeing that it's opening up opportunities for you to turn that corner and actually become more mature, or put your talents and skills that you already have, the stuff that you already know and already done, put it toward heading in a new direction. These are opportunities that will open up for you, and this is going to be through July when the nodes change signs. Maybe you might still be feeling that if you are a Pisces Aquarius cusps into August. So that's going to sort of work out really nicely for you. I think that's a very it's like you're future focused right now, and you're seeing the opportunities that are presented to you. This week, you'll specifically feel this. You will feel this week. Your natal suns are sextile to the sun. That means courage. That means confidence. That means a sense of shining and your charisma opening doors for you this week. The sun, like I said, is in Taurus, so this could have something to do financial. Absolutely, because that's very much associated with the house of Taurus, is the house of finance. So opportunities to increase or learn more about money or increase your money, financial opportunities for you, or just maybe just work opportunities for you. Just understanding things better and having so much sort of kind of light that shines through you that people are offering opportunities for you, or you could really get your foot in the door. This is actually a really nice time for you to put yourself out there for anything that you really care about, because the opportunities are going to be open for you. Pisces 2. So your natal suns are in an interesting position of being sextile to the Mercury retrograde Uranus conjunction in Taurus. And so opportunities like this, like anything that breaks down or falls apart or miscommunication or all that kind of craziness that is expanded by Uranus and all the surprises, you're going to get some sort of surprise that comes from this and that actually works out for you, works out in your favor. It's something that changes suddenly in traditional systems of how we've done things, will open opportunities for you, and maybe retroactively. So there's just a sense of this retrograde needed to happen for the opportunity to come up. Maybe something needed to break for you to show where you shine. Let me know in the comments below how you are experiencing this impact you. By the 20th of this week, your natal suns will be square to Venus, which is in Gemini. Square to Venus basically means you could be a little bit insecure. That insecurity could lead to disruptions in your romance, whoever you're romancing, whoever you're with, feeling not attractive enough. This is not a good time for you to change your hair. This is not a good time for you to change anything aesthetic that would be permanent. This is not a great time for you to make those decisions. Even if you make a good decision, the hair dye might make your hair fall, like something like that. So it's just not a good week for that. It's also not a great week for dating or trying to be overly romantic. This is a sense of maybe challenges with people just want to be friends, or people just want to, like, you're not really interested, or they're dating multiple people. There's this challenge for anything that is long term. It's not so much superficial as it is just more curious and exploratory, and definitely not long term. This is not the week for it. I'm going to let you know that right now. If you're in a long-term relationship, there could be some butting heads with what the two of you want or how the two of you are speaking to each other, because Venus is in Gemini, and Gemini's ruler is now Mercury, is Mercury, and Mercury is now in retrograde. And that could just be things coming up, things being said that are not really pleasant to your ears. So be wary of that. We also have a trine to Mars, and the trine to Mars is in Cancer. So there is some harmony or healing when it comes to your family, or taking action toward healing aspects of your family, or just your children, or feeling really at home, or taking action to make a family. If that's where you're at right now, there's just a fluency and a peace there that will be a foundation for happiness. 3. So Pisces 3. Your natal suns are conjunct to Neptune, which is in Pisces. It's about 26 degrees Pisces. And your natal suns, Jupiter is it's in Aries, so it's sort of like your blind side. And with all that Jupiter's going through, I think you're going to kind of surprise yourself where your energy pops out and where your opportunities for growth are this week. They might not be the most convenient, but they will surprise you. They will be there. And your natal suns are sextile to Pluto. So sextile to Pluto and conjunct Neptune, this is long term. We've been talking about this for a while. There's a lot of craziness going on right now. Pluto is otherwise activated. So if you are a Pisces cusp, you are in a very tight sextile with Pluto. That means that these changes that are happening globally or maybe outside of you are actually going to open up opportunities for you. Just a sense of knowing who you are, getting things done, but not doing it in a way that feels like you're bullying or abrasive to people, doing it in a way that will actually sort of inspire people. So this is a really beautiful transit to have, and you'll have it for the next couple of years. So this is actually progressive, and yeah, you use it to your benefit. The conjunction to Neptune is extraordinary. It's just extraordinary for creativity. And like I said, it's how you use it. Are you going to let it distract you and convince you of things that aren't there? Or are you going to let it inspire you to create something that isn't there yet until you put your mind to it? It all depends on you. But with that sextile to Pluto and the conjunction with Neptune, I think you could have a beautifully productive next couple of years. So we'll check back in together next week to see what's changed or what's coming. Please go over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot to listen to your week ahead tarot card reading. Remember to subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed already. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.